Sup, Shadow Divers. I hope all is well with you guys and you are enjoying this wonderful. What is this today? Is it Thursday? Thursday morning, or whatever time and date is on the other side of the planet. So let's see. We'll just be adding a chat. Actually, no, I'm not going to add chat here. I'm actually adding some AI moderation. I'm hoping that keeps the spam bots out. Better. But anyway, I just wanted to rant today because first things first, the caffeine's hitting me, and I'm like, yes, all the thoughts. But B, I actually woke up and I watched my boy Decoy Voice, and he had something very interesting about the moral circles heat map. Now, let me see if I can actually set this up and do the share screen. God, I hope so. So, the moral circles heat map is a study that they did that it's like let me actually move it to the first one. Let me send it to know your meme first. Here we go. So the heat map comes from a sociological study, and basically the idea is like it was basically revealing liberal participants tended to include non-humans with the highest value on the heat map, falling in the all living things in the universe aspect versus conservatives when it's like, okay, give more, they say parochial replies with the highest value on their heat map falling with the all your friends. So the idea is like, okay, you're adding units of value or units of attachment really to one of these things, to one of these concepts. And let me actually show up the actual questionnaire. So on this page, we would like you to indicate the extent of your moral circle. They're actually asking, how much are you able to take in? And by moral circle, we mean the circle of people or other entities for which you are concerned about right or wrong done towards them. This depiction demonstrates that people have different types of moral circles. At the innermost circle, some people care about their immediate family only. At the outermost circle, people care about the entire universe, all things in existence. Please use the following scale and select a location that depicts the extent of your moral circle. Great. So it starts with all of your immediate family, extended family, close friends, all of your friends. First things first, I already hate the way this is worded, is because you might come from a effed up family and it's like, no, I value my friends much more than my family. But, that might just be more of a, qualification issue there, or maybe even just a verbal issue. But then it like extends out mammals, amphibians, think people all on Earth, people in the universe, things like that. And the way Decoy, my boy, who is very smart, go watch Decoy Voice. He's awesome. But let's see. Let me replace this screen. So the way other people are trying to spin this, which is not true, is that conservatives really just care about their immediate circle and then extend out, whereas liberals are caring more about rocks and trees and hypothetical aliens and stuff, and then they don't care about their immediate people around them. Now, here's the thing. That's not true. This is, well, or at the very least, the study is not indicating that. It's instead indicating how much you think you care about certain things and how much you can take in. So this liberals here, they're like, okay, I can try to take in everything in the universe. I can try to take in rocks and trees and all natural things and yada yada yada. Whereas conservatives are like, no, it's much. I don't think it's a parochial answer. I think it's more of a practical answer. No, I actually can't think about all the other people on the other side of the planet. I really can't imagine taking on the responsibility or the care for rocks, trees, plants, hypothetical alien life forms. Kind of ridiculous, right? So let's see. Let me stop streaming for a second. So first things first, I just wanted to bring this up as this was the study that they were bringing up. Now, even though the study and how people are using this study is wrong, I think the premise is kind of true. Let's get rid of politics for a second, completely. I work with so many people who like people as an idea, but hate people in action. Meaning they love, hey, like these people on the other side of the planet needs more rights. Okay. Thanks a lot, professional wafer CW. What more spam bots? Block. God damn it. So, spam bots, I hate you all so much. But anyway, there's this idea. Clients, certain people like people is as an idea, as an aggregate, as a hey, there's this person on the other side of the planet. I see them on the TikTok, they're suffering. My heart bleeds for them while stepping over a homeless man, while hating the people who try to interact with that person day to day. Like, let's say you have a person, well, I don't even have to use this as a hypothetical example. I've talked to plenty of people about this where it's like power to the people. I love the idea of like whatever. I people need more support, more social services, more love, more affection, all that good stuff. Which is kind of true, but as soon as it becomes actual socialization, actual interaction, it becomes no, I hate that guy in particular. I had this one guy, horribly socially anxious, very bleeding heart. But as soon as it became someone being interested in him, it became a threat or an enemy. It became, hey, this is a person who either wants something from me, even if it's just social engagement, even if it's just a friendship, and that's too much. Keep that guy away. Screw him. And I mean, I hate to make it as easy as blame everything on the screens and on the digital world, but I think it's a component. I think we actually engage more in the social media than the actual in person socialization. So much so that it's like it is hard to know your neighbors, especially if you're in the suburbs. Like the fortress mentality is like, I still don't know. I've been living in this particular location, what, 2 3 months, and I still don't really know my next door neighbors. I wave, but we haven't exactly gotten close. And when it comes to even altruism directly, it very much becomes I like the idea of other people, but I'm not actually willing to do anything to improve the lives of the people around me. That involves too much effort. I'd rather cry about someone on the other side of the planet. I'd rather cry about the Sudan because I'm not going over there. But if I cry about my next door neighbor, I have to actually do something about it. If I cry about, the homeless people on, this on Boulevard of the Allies, it's like, well, are you working at the soup kitchen? Are you getting them housing? What are you doing here? And even if it's not an altruism thing, just the socialization itself can be um, trigger fingers turned into Twitter fingers. Not just in an aggressive and conflictual way. People like to talk about these big intellectual concepts, but when it comes down to actually interacting day to day or putting those concepts in action, praxis, turning theory to action, the loudest people in the room become the quietest, the laziest, the most hidden. A person with, sub 90 IQ who has friends and can socialize and can actually interact with human beings and who can actually be able to give and receive help. Hey, you need some help moving? I'm there. Hey, I need some help moving. I have the crew that I can call. They are much more socially able than a person who's been studying it their entire life, has 130 IQ, but can't ask that girl out. Feels too shy, too socially anxious to actually interact with another human being in the real world. Yeah, that's it, really. I think that a lot of people love people as an idea, but hate them in real life, or at the very least, they view it as a threat. The social anxiety spikes. They view it as, maybe even the person's an enemy. I don't even want to interact with people because the interaction itself hurts me. That can go a bunch of different ways, but just something to think about. If you find yourself in either of those situations, just really question it. Am I viewing this as an aggregate thing, as an ideal, or is it more like I'm actually able to function in this area? Let's see. Well, the only other thing I wanted to talk about was grindification of hobbies. Um, This one's quick, actually. I'm gonna share this one, and hopefully everyone can actually get the audio on this thing.
Making, our culture has made us feel like this recreation time is a waste unless it's building towards something bigger. You can't just paint anymore. You have to be developing your artistic voice. You can't just skateboard. You have to be progressing, filming tricks, building your style. Photography isn't about taking pictures you like. It's about finding your niche, maybe shooting some weddings on the side. But here's what's really happening. We've taken everything that used to be just for fun and turned it into another form of work. We've lost the
Yeah, so true. And it's like, well, first things first, first things first. And in a weird way, it's very much incentivized. Like photography, if you can make photography a business, you can write off all the business expenses. That in of itself can be so a boon to it as a hobby in and of itself. I know there's a bunch of IRS law. Don't quote me IRS law about well versus hobby versus how much time you're spending on work. Shut up. Just shut up. The idea is like, okay, it's already incentivized through our tax system. So that's part one. Maybe that even affords you a new camera. Part two, it's like, okay, I'm in a job where I only eat what I kill. I only get paid for the direct hours that I'm seeing a client. And all this stuff about, yeah, we'll talk passive income later. That's a rant for later. But the idea is like, okay, if you actually want to function in the world, it's not just, hey, I'm trying to get better at this. It's maybe this is my side gig. Maybe I do need to take a bunch of wedding photography photos and get paid whatever I get paid and do the editing and stuff just to survive. It's not just a grindification of hobbies in order to like for social pressure. I got rent to pay, homie.
lost the ability to do something just because it feels good to do it. Everything has to have a trajectory, a purpose beyond just existing. And honestly, it's killing the joy out of everything. The thing
Agree
that
with
made
that.
hobbies special was that they were the one area of your life where you could be terrible at something and it didn't matter, where you could experiment, mess up, try weird stuff, and there were no consequences because it was just for you. Now we're
Yeah, that part actually is also a thing that I work with a lot of clients on, especially the idea of like if I'm not good at it immediately, I'm putting it down immediately. Um and I did a previous video about that I think on a different channel. Um especially with my like really hurt, insecure, prideful men, where it's like, okay, I need to be the best at something, or at the very least, good enough. And the comparison is always usually to the masters, the people who have been the experts who have been doing it for years and years and years. And it's like, yeah, LeBron James probably was doing basketball for since he was what, two? And it's like, okay, your development of this as a skill is tied to your development as a human being and as like child, adolescence, young adulthood, where it's like, okay, physically, mentally, you're doing this enough where you are engaging in mastery from the super youngest age. But then you reach a point where it's like, okay, well, I've never picked up a basketball. I'm 37. If I'm starting, I'm probably starting at toddler level. I'm starting at the very least, like, not very good. And most people are comparing themselves, like, when they try a new hobby, they're comparing themselves to mastery. So just be aware of that. You actually don't have to be perfect the day one, hour one. All of us starts. All of us start with the full tarot. We all start at levels one or even level zero.
Now we're tracking our progress, setting goals, comparing ourselves to others online, treating our free time like it's another job we're not getting paid for. We've infected our downtime with the same productivity mindset that already dominates everything else. I see this constantly with creative stuff. Someone starts making beats because they think it might be fun, but within a week they're watching YouTube tutorials on the producer mindset and building your brand as a beat maker. They haven't even finished their first track, and they're already thinking about SoundCloud followers and getting signed to a label, or painting. People download Procreate to mess around with digital art, but suddenly they're researching brush settings and watching speed paint tutorials, and feeling frustrated because their stuff doesn't look like what they see online.
Yeah,
The experimentation phase gets skipped entirely. Social media obviously makes this worse. Everything becomes content. You can't just skateboard for the feeling of it. You should probably be filming tricks for TikTok. You can't just produce music for yourself. Why not post those beats on Instagram? The act of documenting the hobby becomes more important than actually enjoying the hobby.
That part, the documentation part. I kind of love the documentation, actually. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. I liked being the guy sober enough in the crew to A, have the pics, and B, remember what the hell happened last night. So I appreciate the keeping an eye on the adventure, getting a memory, getting this idea of like, okay, here's this thing that happened, or here's this process. Let's see how we're doing it. Let's see how we're creating. But yeah, no, I get it. It's like, okay, the documentation as entertainment, as other people need to see this in order for me to, I don't know, enjoy it, or in order for it to be real. That in and of itself becomes a problem. Why are we all now content creators? Why are we all now trying to be influencers, or at least get paid off the kick slash, oh god, the whatever channels I'm on? Yeah.
And then there's the productivity guilt. We live in a culture where rest feels irresponsible.
Oh, yeah,
If you're
that's so
not
true.
hustling, grinding,
Rest feels irresponsible. Oh, that is. I think it comes from being told that you're lazy. And for a lot of my life, I've had to challenge it, because one of the ideas has been, even if I fail, I promise no one will ever tell me that I did not work enough. And I appreciated that, because at that level of spite, or that level of a belief, has gotten me through some hard times and has gotten me into push. Fantastic. But that as a North Star, that as an umbrella, that as it becomes an albatross. Well, that's the wrong answer. It becomes a millstone around your neck. Albatross is something different. You're cursed for doing a sin. Maybe it does work. Whatever. It's a millstone. The idea being, this is something that is actually supposed to be enjoyable, or at the very least tolerable. The idea that I have to prove that I'm working hard enough in order to what? Not be told that I'm lazy, not be told I'm not going to make it. Well, first things first, screw anyone who told you that. And second, is that really how you want to work? Is that really how you want to live your life?
building something, what are you even doing? Hobbies feel frivolous because they don't directly contribute to your career or your bank account or your personal development. But that's exactly the point. Hobbies aren't supposed to be productive. They're supposed to be the antidote to productivity culture, not another victim of it. When you make music just because certain sounds make you happy, when you paint just to see colors mixed together, when you skateboard just to feel the movement, that's not wasted time. That's your brain getting to play. That's you remembering what it feels like to be human instead of a productivity machine. We've convinced ourselves that if something doesn't lead somewhere, it's pointless. But what if the point is just the doing? What if the value is in the experience itself, not in any outcome or product you might create? We've made everything into a potential side hustle. Every interest has to be justified through productivity or profit. But when every hobby becomes a business opportunity, we lose something essential about what makes them valuable in the first place. Your hobbies don't owe you anything. They don't have to make you money, or make you better, or make you more interesting. Sometimes the most radical thing you can do is just enjoy something for the sake of enjoying it.
Let's go back real quick.
Value is in the experience itself, not in any outcome or product you might create. We've made everything into a potential side hustle.
Yeah, that, because we need potential side hustles. Rents do, homie. Like, even if you're like financially secure right now, so first things first, if you're financially secure, you're blessed. Genuinely. Like, I know it's hard work, and you're like, have the kudos, have the pride, but you're genuinely blessed. But second, it's like everything has become so incredibly complicated. It's not just going to the dealership and buying a car. It's not just going to the realtor and buying a house. It's also, here's the taxation, here's the property taxes, here's the lien, here's the other things, here's the gas bill, here's the everything becomes a subscription. Everything becomes this other thing on our head. That's another sword of Damocles, another millstone, another thing tearing us down. And it's like, well, the grindification, the turning a hobby into productivity, we're doing it because God forbid we actually reach a level of financial stability where we can actually turn it off, where we can actually calm ourselves down enough to just relax. And I feel for people, I mean, it's tough out there. It's tough in here. It's like, okay, if we actually felt abundance, we could probably have a hobby without having to have the camera running. Genuinely. I think that that's the biggest thing, like the abundance mindset and the abundance reality. It's like I can handle poverty. I can handle money. I can handle when the bills are due. If you have that, of course we can actually go skateboard and we don't have to have the camera running. Of course I can make some beats and not have to sell them. Of course I can do photography and not have to, fight some bridezilla about it. But yeah, I think the complication, I think the complexity of life has this automatic reaction where it's like, I need to do more. I need to be more productive, or at least get more money so I can feel more safe. And I know that's not something anyone wants to hear, but I think that's the truth. So, yeah, let's see. Let me just take a look at this comment. We're treating our free time like it's another job we're not getting paid for. Yep. I do want to expand on that. I don't know anything about that. You cannot even comprehend the damage social media have done to humanity. Yep. Hobbies are supposed to be the antidote to productivity culture, not another victim of it. True. I think it's like one of those things where it's like we also don't know how to re-energize. We don't know how to actually do deep rest, as in actually doing nothing for a while. And we actually don't know how to do active rest or active recovery, where we're doing something that really energizes us. One of the first things I ever talk about it with new clients is, what do you do for re-energization? What do you do for fun? What do you do for self-care? And most of the time it's like, I watch TV. And it's like, well, does it really pump you up? Does it really get you excited? Get you like getting you ready to go, getting you horny for life is sometimes how I describe it. And it's like, no. And it's like, well, do you have anything like that? It's like, no. Well, maybe that's your first assignment. We need to start sampling some ideas that are actually fun. For me, it's mystery novels, certain Warhammer novels, riding my bike. Riding my bike is probably the best thing I do for my soul. Even if I'm physically exhausted, even if it's raining, even if it's hot as expletive outside, I will still be mentally pumped up. It's my favorite thing to do, genuinely. Least favorite hobby to do. So, yeah, that's another thing. It's like, okay, it's supposed to be something energizing, something fun. What happened to fun? That's a whole other thing. I might make that its own counselor rant. Thank you. I'm a wildlife photographer. People have been telling me for years I'm so good I should build my website. Get on Instagram, social media, build my brand. I got into shooting weddings to make money and I was good at it. All of a sudden, I lost my passion for my craft. My vision for my art became blurry and inspiration left me. That's the other thing. It's like turning the hobby into the hustle can just destroy it, can just destroy whatever it is that you actually get out of it, because it becomes less about the hobby itself and much more about the making money. Genuinely. So, also, why is it always weddings? Everything has to be weddings. It's like, make spicy content. Do make pictures of spiders. Make pictures of Warhammer figurines. Like literally anything other than weddings. Come on. All right. Well, that's all. You're getting the main idea. I don't want to hash this down too much. So, this is just some rants. I hope this was mildly entertaining for you. I'm going to try to figure out how to put this on a VOD on YouTube once this is done. But yeah, go check out Alistair. Yeah, Alistair. grindification hobbies, and go check out Decoy Voice as well. All right, love you, shadow divers. Y'all have a great everything. Talk to you again soon.